When we fit ourselves for heaven's crown, trusting and obeying God through the seasons of disappointment or hardship or pain, oh my goodness, what do you know? We become shining jewels, sparkling jewels, in spite of ourselves, all because we choose to trust the one who is clearing away all the dust and the dirt that can so easily dull our souls. I don't want a dull soul, do you? Suffering is his precision tool. He scours away all the dirt, the cranky, the sour, the peevish attitudes. Oh God, get rid of that stuff in my life. And my suffering is the very stuff that he'll use to squeeze me. And like a lemon, out will come all this sour disposition, this peevish outlook on the day. God help me, I can't do quadriplegic today, but I can do all things through Christ, who strengthens me. He'll chip away, he'll refine, until we look like Isaiah chapter 60, arise and shine, for the light has come, and the glory of the Lord is upon us. You don't have to endure half a century of paralysis or pain. Like me, you have your own set of temptations and stubborn habits of the flesh that you need to get rid of. But God is the craftsman. He knows how much and how hard to cut and cleanse the diamond that is your soul. And the hurting and the hammering just isn't going to end until we reflect the most beautiful light this world will ever see, Christ in us, the hope of glory. A few years ago, I took my husband, Ken, down Old Court Road off of Liberty Road in Maryland. I wanted him to see the Sylvandale Quarry. It had been maybe, 5, 6 decades since I had ridden my pony across that quartz crystal. And I wanted him to see the quarry. So we pulled over on the gravel shoulder of the road, turned off the engine, and while it pinged in the heat, we listened to the quiet. The quarry is now flooded from an underground spring. It is, in fact, a lake. And our old bridle path is overgrown with brush and with trees. It is such a peaceful place. We sat there with our windows rolled down in the car and just listened to birds calling through the hickory trees, wind whispering in the leaves. It was a slice of heaven. It was so serene. The quiet was indeed in contrast to all the noise and the dust and the dirt that I had known there as a child. But it was the perfect picture of 1 Kings chapter 6. Listen to this. Quote, in building the temple, only blocks dressed at the quarry were used, and no hammer and no chisel or any other iron tool was heard at the temple site while it was being built. Wow. The way Solomon's temple was built was a picture of heaven. And all the stones of the temple were to be dressed, that is, they were to be cut and refined and polished and shaped there at the quarry. It meant that all the chiseling and the hammering was done at the work site and not at the temple site. Friend, this world is God's work site. Earth is his quarry, and it is not peaceful and pleasant. We are being painfully mined out of the stone of this planet Earth, with all the jackhammering and steam shoveling and belching smoke and dust and noise and sweat and tears and suffering. But God is dressing us, and he is fitting us for heaven, where there's no more sorrow, no more sighing. The anointed of the Lord shall obtain joy and gladness. Sorrow and sighing shall flee away, and they shall enter Zion with singing, and everlasting joy shall crown our heads. Friend, you are no ordinary pebble with no purpose. You are a living stone in God's temple. And Zechariah chapter 9, verse 16 promises, on that day, we're going to sparkle in his land. We're going to shine like jewels in his crown. So as John Piper would say, don't waste your suffering. Yield to the hammer and the chisel and the steam shovel and the jackhammer, because soon the sound and the fury will be behind us, and God will close the curtain on sin and suffering and Satan, and something so glorious is going to happen in the world's finale that it will suffice for all of your hurts, it will atone for all of my tears, and it will be more than sufficient to cause us to praise our Lord Jesus for all the grace he gave us, to smile in spite of our hardships. No, I take that back. Not in spite of our hardships, but because of our hardships. And so would you bear with the hammering a bit longer? And the hurt and the disappointment? Yield to the chisel, would you, as we go forth from here? And let's sing of the day when we will fully reflect the most beautiful light the world will ever see, Christ in us, the hope of glory.